For hosting us today. I'm one of the rabbis at Beth Shalom, where Joe also had connections and where Mike, I believe, was bar mitzvahed. And so we're really delighted to be honoring Joe as a community, which is, I think, what he would have wanted. We'll talk about it a little bit more later. But he was a man of service, and he was a man of presence and showing up. If you haven't already, I'll invite you to silence your cell phones. You can even turn them off. I know that's a very radical idea in this day and age. And we will be here for probably 15 to 20 minutes. And then those who would like to and are physically able can follow us to Mount Carmel Cemetery. It is a bit of a drive, so if you have time constraints, I invite you to participate this morning, and if you would like to at Shiva tonight, but maybe not head to the cemetery. And the terrain is a little bit uneven, so just a heads up. And with that, we will begin our service. We are going to begin with Psalm 23, which is a traditional psalm of mourning, and it's also a psalm that held great importance for Joe. Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai ro'i lo echzar, binot desha yarbitzeni, al mei menuchot yanahaleni, nafshi yeshovev, yancheni v'magle tzadek lema'an shemo, gam ki elech beget zalmavet, lo irara ki ata imadi, shivtecha umishantecha, hema yinachemuni. Ta'aroch lefanai shulchan, neged sorarai, dishanta v'shemen roshi, kosi revaya. Ach tov v'chesed, irdefuni kol yamei chayai, v'shavti bevet Adonai le'orech yamim. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. Guiding me on the right path, for that is God's essence. I fear no harm, for you are with me. Amen. Joseph Joe Levy was born on October 21st, 1930, in Trier, Germany. Though Joe had to evacuate less than a decade later, he understood German as an adult and carried certain childhood memories with him. Unfortunately, one of those memories was of the rock that was thrown through his bedroom window, which he found upon returning from getting a drink of water. It was no surprise that soon after, Joe's family had to leave the country. Most of Joe's childhood, however, was defined by his time in Omaha, Nebraska. Joe took being an American citizen seriously, helping his parents Leopold and Martha get naturalization papers, and taking on various leadership roles within his family, including as brother to Warner. Joe served in the Army in the early 1950s. He was proud of his service, being assigned to the Pentagon, of which he would remind people. Joe was quiet until he had something to say. Perhaps this is why he took to the outgoing and outspoken Barbara, known as Bobby, who he met at a dance when he was serving the country and when she was in high school. Bobby's dad required them to wait until she was 19 to get married, and they did just days after her 19th birthday. Bobby was a social butterfly and instigated many plans with friends, some of whom are here today. They spent over 60 years laughing, bickering, and loving one another. During that time, they raised a beautiful family and enjoyed traveling with Bobby's sister and her husband, Howard. Even after the passing of their wives, Howard and Joe remained close. Joe took his role as a father to Mike, a grandfather and great-grandfather seriously, fixing broken windows from baseballs no matter how many times he had to, attending softball games, and even just weeks prior to his passing, attending t-ball games. Joe was present for Mike's academic accomplishments and scouting commitments, and in later years, his signature smirk would turn into an unbridled grin when he was around the younger children in the family. His love of sports extended beyond his descendants' hobbies to rooting passionately for the Chiefs and the Royals. In these past few months, as his son and granddaughters cared for him with so much love, Joe's passion for his teams was unrelenting. It's okay. When Spectrum had an outage and he could not watch the ball game, Joe threatened to call the FBI unless someone fixed his services right away. Indeed, Joe was ornery, but he didn't hold a grudge, gruff yet loving, stubborn yet considerate. Having spent many years working hard negotiating in his professional capacity, working with liquidations, mail order delivery companies, and other such businesses, Joe appreciated the importance of negotiating a good deal. Whether it was the senior citizen discount or the pricing per person for meals with the Romeos, Joe had an eye for these details. It was the Romeos, his long-held passion for fishing, and his companionship with Carol Brooks that brought Joe tremendous joy in the last chapter of his life. He did not stop living after Bobby's death, though he missed her dearly. Joe took over the responsibility for sending out birthday and anniversary cards, enjoyed spending Thanksgiving and Jewish holidays with Carol and her kids, and remained an active member of the Romeos, with whom he spent Fridays up until the day of his recent fall. Joe also maintained his earnest and long-standing commitment to his faith. Every night, he would say prayers before bed, and every morning, he would wrap tefillin. Our tradition associates tefillin with being both a sign reminding us of the Exodus from Egypt and a way to embody our attachment to the Torah that God gave at Mount Sinai. A teacher of mine, Rabbi Danny Nevins, has written that, in this way, tefillin connects physical freedom to spiritual purpose. Though he did not say as much explicitly, it is clear through his quiet, pious daily actions that Joe viscerally understood this connection between his physical freedom and his spiritual purpose. A founding member of Beth Torah, an accepting father, grandfather, and great-grandfather to a multi-faith family, and a faithful man until the end, Joe made his life a blessing and brought blessing to those around him. Joe passed away peacefully on August 3rd, with loving family nearby. We extend our condolences to Joe's son, Mike, his grandchildren, Monica, Michaela, and Kevin, Marjorie and Jacob, Matthew and Megan, his 3 step-grandchildren, Ryan, Trevor, and Katie, and his 5 beautiful great-grandchildren, Evelyn, Aubrey, Addison, Victoria, and Gabriel, and numerous other friends and family, including Carol, Howard, and so many others. May Joe's memory continue to be for a blessing. I will now recite an El Male for Joe, and then the pallbearers will come get the casket. Steve, would you like to say a word about that before we do the El Male? I would like you to just give some guiding directions for the casket before we recite an El Male. Great. Okay. So everyone will just hang put, and Steve will take good care of you, as he always does. This is a prayer to pray that God grants infinite rest to Joe, praying that he may find perfect peace in God's eternal embrace. ברחמים, שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה, תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים, את נשמת יוסף בן אריאל, שהלך לעולמו, בגן עדן תהא מנוחתו. אנא בעל הרחמים, הסתירהו בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, וצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו. אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר אמן.